A Stoic would know that in everyday's life there are two types of things life can throw at you: what you can and what you cannot control. And if you would leave this video right now, in fact I would encourage you to leave, taking this one Stoic principle with you and live the rest of your life according to it. A man should not worry about two things: what he can do something about and what he can do nothing about. If there is something you can do to solve or reduce the damage of the problem facing you, go for it. If, however, there is nothing you can do, so be it. Just acknowledge that and move on to the next thing. With this, you would achieve the closest thing to happiness in the midst of all this absurdity and unnecessary conflict surrounding us. In fact, it is not even happiness, it is just a little bit less anxious and stressful life. Now, philosophy can be so complicated, but it doesn't have to be, and I will show you. In the times we live in, it is easy to feel like you are at the mercy of circumstances, crumbled and overwhelmed by everything, and life is just out of your control. Life can be tough and no one can deny that, but the Stoics are resilient facing the storms of life. Stoicism is basically the Sigma male philosophy, from Roman emperors to slaves to modern day you and I. Long story short, Stoicism say you can control nothing except of your reaction to the world, whether it's traffic, bad weather, or a cheating wife, anger, crying, or laughing at the gods or the universe or whatever you might think is up there. Your reaction to life is the only thing that is under your complete control. As a human, you tend to look for something greater than yourself, something outside that would give your life purpose. And what's popular on the menu today is drugs, sex, traveling, and the classical choice, religion. Bad news, none of these could really fill the void inside. There is, however, nature. Nature is calm sometimes and sometimes angry and always beautiful, exactly like a woman. As a Stoic, you will learn from nature that life isn't about being perfect or flawless, but about embracing imperfections and finding joy in the simplest things. Being Stoic means living at ease like nature. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. As a Stoic, living in accordance with nature, you will be calm and never overwhelmed and guided by desire. Stoic life is about living the harmony between the calm tree and the vicious wind, the hugs between the waves and the shore, the dance among the planets. Everything in nature is dancing in harmony except for humans, and every man who ever became great was only trying to dance. Another discipline a Stoic needs to master is being neutral. By judging others or events that happen to you, you are judging yourself to be a victim of the outside world, and that will provoke your emotions and cloud your vision, dealing with whatever that is. And the Stoic way to lighten the weight of life, and this is a note I keep in my sight: seeing clearly is seeing without judgment. By executing no judgment on anything and knowing that nothing and no one can really disturb you, you can just be kind to everyone, not angry, not hating, and not even loving. And remember that judging is just a form of projection. As a Stoic or Jungian or just as a human, not judging is a quality you must have. Obviously, there is a lot more to Stoicism. Other principles like amor fati that says you ought to accept what happens to you as a part of the natural flow of things, as this fate, whatever it might be, is outside of your control. By doing that, you can find peace and focus on what you actually can control. Also, the Stoics live in the now, as the present moment is the only slice of life you can really live in and control. Lastly, there is moderation as a Stoic principle, which emphasizes on the importance of finding balance in all things and avoiding extremes to achieve an inner self that is not disturbed by desire. Personally, I see that the Stoics contradict themselves by the 9 emotions relying on logic, which is conflicted to living in accordance with nature. A mind all logic is like a knife all blade, but the inner resilience that Stoicism can help you achieve keeps you shielded from what's outside of your control and stabilizes your emotions in unstable times. You can find yourself in the middle of by knowing that something is outside of your control. You will face it calm, resilient, and like a true Stoic, focusing on what you really can control. To learn how to react like a Stoic, you should see this video.
Le bonheur, après tout, est une activité originale aujourd'hui. La preuve est qu'on a tendance à se cacher pour l'exercer, à y voir une sorte de balai rose dont il faut s'excuser.